Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It is once again time for the South Range Coaches Corner, brought to you by Gianno's. And, he's feeling better. He's back to 100%. Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Rock. What's up, buddy?
How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you? That's a better question.
I'm doing much better. It's been a long week, but excited for tonight.
We missed you certainly on Tuesday at Giangelo's, but we're glad that you're back to hopefully 100% and ready to rock tonight. Let's start with last week. I mean, we talked about it. Coach Yeagley was part of the conversation. It is very challenging to play anybody twice in one season in the sport of football. Girard comes to town. The atmosphere was electric. You guys held your own, certainly, but Girard just wouldn't go away. Talk to me about those Girard Indians and what they brought to the table on Friday night and how you guys were able to not only survive, but move on to week 13.
Yeah, I think we had a good week of practice. I think, much like the first time we played Girard, they're just really skilled on the perimeter. I thought the quarterback was outstanding. I mean, we made his life miserable for a lot of the game, and he just kept on standing in the pocket, kept on making good throws and extending plays, and the receivers did a great job. They got the run game going there for a while. I think defensively we played really well. You look at outside of the last 7 or 8 minutes of the game, I thought we held them in check, which is really hard to do. I'm not saying we were stifling them all night, but that's an offense that slowing them down is a win. Offensively, I thought we did a good job of being patient and trying to be efficient. They did a nice job of, I think, just minimizing some of the damage that our run game was doing. They were tackling us well. They were getting a lot of hats to the ball, but I thought our guys did a nice job of just, like I said, staying patient and trying to stay ahead of the sticks and fighting for extra yardage as much as we could, and then capitalizing when we got our opportunities.
Last week, the first week that Coach Hayes in the booth to see you guys live and in person, you walked away impressed, and there was a lot of people that said, okay, a win's a win. You'll always take it, especially in the postseason. A lot of people walked away thinking this wasn't the best performance South Range had. Talk to me about, you guys never rest on your laurels. You never sit there and say, hey, we can't get better. Look at the game against Girard. Where did you kind of grade it out for your squad?
I think it was kind of a tale of not two halves, but of, I guess, two parts. I thought in the first 3 quarters we played really well, and I know it wasn't, it's funny. I think sometimes you get a little bit spoiled by success, or, at certain times, and you think like, you're going to just roll the ball out and beat somebody 50-0, and that's just not the case in the playoffs, especially. But against the NE8 opponent the second time around, I thought our kids did a really good job of staying patient and continuing to battle. Against whatever was up against us in terms of adversity. I thought the kids did a great job. So, I don't know if it was the cleanest we've played, but part of that is give some credit to Girard. I thought they did a good job of giving us some looks that we hadn't seen before defensively. And then, again, it's really hard to keep that team in check for 4 quarters just because of the amount of explosive playmakers that they have running around. And they're good in a lot of spots, and thought they had a great plan. They were really well coached and prepared. So, but I don't dwell on it too much this time of year. I mean, we're trying to find a way to win a game and move on. And, at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. And our guys were able to do that.
I think one of the biggest things that people look at when you're playing South Range, or a team in that vicinity of South Range that has that level of success year after year, is you have to get them unsettled. And there were moments during that game that not only some of the guys became unsettled, but we saw you have some extended conversations with the Zebras. And talk to me about how you keep your cool and kept your cool in those scenarios where you could point to it and say, well, it wasn't fair because of X, Y, or Z. And you were able to kind of keep the cool and really embody and lead by example to why play the game on the field.
Well, I appreciate that, but I don't know that I did the best job of maintaining my poise or keeping my cool. And, I try not to get frustrated and certainly try to understand, especially with referees, it's a really hard job, and there's not a lot of people signing up to do it. I certainly wouldn't sign up to do it. It's tough to do. And we make mistakes every play. As a coach, I make mistakes every game, so obviously officials are going to do the same thing. And it's hard, man. The game happens fast and they're up in the action. So, I was frustrated and having conversations with them, and, I'm certainly not proud of when I do that. I really try not to. I brought the guys up and just told them, we got to do a great job of maintaining our poise here and handling ourselves the right way. And I said, that starts with me. I brought the guys together on the sideline and told them, I'm not proud of how I've responded or reacted so far, and we've got to do a better job. And again, that starts with me. But I said, I want you guys to the lights went off in the room. I said, I just want you guys to play your tails off and act the right way for the next, I think 7 minutes at that point. And let's go find a way to finish the game off.
So now you turn the page here tonight. You play Sugar Creek Garaway, a team that needs introduction, a team that you guys are well acquainted with, and obviously, they've had a lot of success this season. What do you see when you look at Garaway? What obstacles you're going to have to overcome? What can we expect tonight on when things are settled at Minerva?
I think the big picture, you start with, they're a tremendous program. They're one of those teams that, you expect to see late in the playoffs every year. Last year they bumped down to Division 6, or 2 years ago they bumped down to Division 6, but they're a state semifinalist. They were in the Final Four last year, and bring back some really key pieces from that team. They do a really good job, I think, as a coaching staff, offensively and defensively. Offensively, they got a great running back and a great quarterback, and they're always really well coached and clean up front. I think probably they do, as good a job as anybody that we see in terms of getting their best players the ball with a lot of space. And those guys are really dangerous once they get out there. Defensively, it's funny. We went back and watched some of the 21 film the last time we played them, and it's a lot of the same stuff. I think they really believe in their system. I think they executed at a high level. They're always prepared. All of the films that we've seen on them over the years, it's kind of the same style of football, and they're really sticking with their bread and butter. So it'll be a great challenge for us. They're very physical, and it's a program that really, I think, has grown, very similar to the way we have just over the years, kind of brick by brick, and to where they're, one of those perennial teams that's always going to be in the hunt. Going back to that 21 team, it's hilarious. They've got Yoders and Millers and Wallachs running around. And if you go back and watch us, and they still do. If you go watch us in 21, we've got a 28 that's a Starkey. We've got a 34 that's a Dominguez, a 20 that's a Krause. So I think it's two programs that are they have a lot of community support. And I think the kids there grow up, wanting to be Garaway Pirates, much, in the same way that our kids grow up wanting to be South Range Raiders.
When you think about, and I don't think that many people understand this, when you go through 10 weeks of football, now 12 weeks of football, you're either home or you're away. This is a neutral site game the rest of the way. Expectations. I mean, when you go into these neutral games, obviously the kids, because of the success on both sides, understand, but I mean, it's usually a hostile environment or a friendly environment. And this time it can kind of be down the middle because, these other communities are saying, hey, I want to go see South Range. I want to go see Garaway. What are your expectations going into an environment that is neutral?
I think tonight's going to be, a wild atmosphere. I really do. Garaway, you can see on the film some of the turnouts they've had as far as their crowd goes, and they have a ton of support. I know how we travel. I think most of the Northeast, portion of the state understands that we have great support and that we're going to travel. Minerva is a great facility. We played there my first year, I think my first or second year back coaching for Coach Yeagley. We played Mogadore down there, and it's a great environment for a small school playoff game. I think, it holds more than what you realize. And I'm a fan of all the stadiums that are kind of a little bit lower, but it expands goal line to goal line. And I love places like that. It feels like you're in a shoebox and you can really feel the crowd, and we're going to have to hear them and feel them and get some energy from them tonight.
Do you have any conversations or pep talks with the seniors and some even the up and coming underclassmen that, this is a special time of year? This is, you control your own destiny. You win and you go on, you lose and you go home. I mean, do you guys talk about that, or is it just, do you leave that to the players to talk amongst themselves?
No, we definitely talk about it. My message has been for a number of weeks now, don't take anything for granted. And I don't want them to ever be, maybe spoiled by their previous success. I want them to understand that what they're doing is special, and that every week you get to play in the playoffs is special. There's a lot of teams out there that I'm sure wish they hadn't turned in their equipment and wish they were still having an opportunity, to go hang out with 60 of their best friends and go compete like crazy and represent their communities on a Friday night. And I know our guys, enjoy doing that. I've talked to them this week about, we've got to make sure that we're hungry and that we play in a way that I think shows our community that we're still hungry to keep playing. And, I think we really do try to put on, the best performance, the best show that we can for our families, for our communities, for our support systems. And the best way that we can, I think, repay them for all that they do for us is to go out and show them how much fun we're having playing the game and play it the right way.
Without question, this is going to be a heavyweight bout for the ages. A lot of people are going to be tuning in, but that leads us to our question of the day. And there's another heavyweight bout going on tonight on another platform. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. So my question to you, excuse me, a little off the cuff. If you had to get in the ring with one of them for a lot of money, which one would it be and why? Jake Paul, Mike Tyson.
Oh, man. I don't want to get in the ring with either one of them. I'll tell you that. For the right amount of money, though, I'll probably hop in there with either one of them. It'd be short-lived either way. I'd probably hop in there with Tyson for sure, just to say that I did. We all know it wouldn't go very well, but for the right amount of money, and it'd be a great story if I survived it somehow once I woke up. But I grew up probably like most kids our generation, just a huge fan of Iron Mike. He was watching him felt like you were watching just a different species. Just how relentless he was and how explosive and he's obviously still fun to listen to him interview. I won't be tuning in. I don't know. I feel weird about like a young man kind of in the prime of his life fighting against a guy that's 60 years old. No matter how great Mike was at that point, he's still 60 years old. I know. I'm 35 and I don't feel like I felt it, 20 something. So I can't imagine being 60 and getting in the ring and trying to do that. But good for him. I hope he gets paid and hopefully he finds a way to get it done tonight.
All right, secondary question. Is there anybody on the South Range staff that would actually probably maybe win that fight with Mike Tyson?
Oh, man. Coach Foster would probably have the best chance just because he's the tail of the tape is in Coach Foster's. Plus he's got a big head.
He's looking pretty slim these days, though.
No, he is. He's trimmed. He looks good, man. But I don't mean like a big head, metaphorically. I mean he has a large head. Yeah,
it's a large dome.
Yeah, probably. We always joke around at the Big Show. That's what Coach Foster looks like. So. Probably him. I wouldn't put it. Coach Doc, I'm sure, has some, tricks up his sleeve from back in his days, in the Army or elsewhere. He's got a wealth of experience that would probably help him there. And then Coach Taylor, I'm sure, would have something to say about it. I don't know how he'd get it done, but he'd probably pull off some wild stuff. I think Coach Taylor would probably be a favorite in that fight somehow. I don't know how he'd do it, but he'd find a way to get it done.
I love it. Coach Rock, good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Away. We appreciate your time and look forward to hoping to talk to you next week, my friend.
Yeah, man, I hope so too. Go Raiders.